Very cool. I just learned something new on this platform. Good evening. Surprise. I had a interview with Tanya Green this evening. It got postponed until next week, but I am a person of integrity and I said I was going to do a live, so I'm here. Now I have to figure out what I'm going to talk about. No, I have something in mind that I had been wanting to share. As you know, I'm in property management. I absolutely love what I do. I love my residents. I love traveling throughout Atlanta, sharing, and of course, touring apartments and meeting new people. So I'm going to improvise. I mean, after all, it is Tenacious Tuesday. It's about doing whatever it is that you're passionate about. I'm passionate about what I do in property management. So there. So I'm going to share my story about how I started in property management. And I'm going to start from the beginning, so I can, eat up some of the time. And then I've been wanting to talk about this anyway, so I thought, now is the perfect time to talk about it. So I come from a family of quite a few people that are in the medical industry. I have a sister. Her name is Tanya. She's my heart. She's my love, dear heart, and she's been in the nursing industry for quite some time. I mean, for as long as I can remember. And I have another sister who lives in New York. Hey, Claudia. She's in the medical field. I have a niece in the medical field, and probably a few others, but I'm not naming. But my point is, that was the road that I thought that I wanted initially. And so I too said, well, my sister Tanya is a nurse, and so she's been doing it. Maybe I might like it. I think I might go ahead and try it. So I did. I went to school for a medical assistant, and I did that for about a year, maybe 2 years. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. I went into it with the intention of helping people, and I did that for some time. And my intention was to go to school for a licensed practical nurse, which is the entry level to being a registered nurse. However, I was sitting in the emergency room, and I had this patient there, and they weren't feeling well. And it just seemed like, it was a little, I was uncomfortable, wasn't really overly, ecstatic about the position there. At any rate, I decided, okay, well, I'll pick up something on the side, or I'll pick up a new trade, and, I'll transition out of this into something else. Well, at the time I had one daughter, and at the time I was single, and I didn't and I was, I was a single parent at that time, and so I, was looking for some extra income. So I was living at an apartment community on Old National in College Park. And I had just a small studio. I had just moved out of my brother's house. Thank you, Stanley. Love you, love you, love you. And so we were living in this 500 square foot. It was like a box apartment, like the studio efficiency where everything is like an arm's reach. So we were literally living there. It's just she and I. Of course, it's her name is Naja. She's 16. She's almost 17 now. But anyways, so I was living in that apartment, and I thought, I really could use some extra money. So let me pick up an extra job. And then I was like, well, I'm already working from 9 to 5. How much time can I find there to do something, and what will I do? So I went into the leasing office at the property where I was living on Old National. And I always heard the leasing agents, talking about, how much money they make, and how awesome it is. And just, they were just sharing, how much money they made, and they were talking. I was sitting in the waiting area, just overhearing the conversation. And at the time, they were actually making more money than I was making, and I was, a medical assistant. And of course, and I still had that student debt that I had acquired, by taking the class. Don't get me wrong, the medical field is awesome. It's beautiful. It's, a very important industry, obviously. But at any rate, so on the weekends, I would go into the leasing office and just kind of chat with the young ladies. And she was like, "Well, are you looking to make some extra money? I heard you say you're looking to make some extra money." I said, "Yeah, I'm looking to make some extra money. I'm always looking to make some extra money, especially since, I'm a single parent and I could use the extra income." And she said, "Hey, why don't you come into the leasing office and do some filing, on the weekends, or I even have apartments that I might need someone to clean for my move-ins." And I thought, okay, that sounds interesting. There wasn't a dollar amount attached to it. Initially, I was just helping them and they were paying me out of their pocket, a couple of dollars here and a couple of dollars there on the weekends. So at any rate, as time went on, they liked, they liked my work ethic. They liked the fact that, it was only a few hours on the weekend, but I was always there and I was always on time. I was always very professional. It was almost like kind of like I was working for a job, but I really wasn't. I was just helping out. As time went on, they said, "We think we can use some extra help. We can use some extra help probably, at another property. What do you think?" And I thought, well, I'm not quite sure. I don't think I'm ready to leave the medical assistant job that I had at the time, which, was my main income at the time. So I continued to work on the weekends, and I'm doing everything from cleaning toilets, cleaning the leasing office, filing, whatever it was that I could. And then initially they had started shaving some money off of my rent. So I wasn't getting a paycheck per se, but they were taking money from my rent every month. So it still worked. Okay. Remember, I'm single at this time. I have one child. I'm single and I'm, trying to do this mommy thing for the first time. Um, so yeah, so pretty much, um, I needed that extra money to be shaved off of my rent at the time. So, but anyhow, so they were cutting some money off of my rent where I was living, and that worked because I was able to save some money and work towards some goals and do other things. And so that's how that went. So, fast forward, while I was working at this community cleaning toilets and helping out and picking up trash on the properties. Just doing whatever it was that my hands could do in order to make sure that the rent was still being deducted every month. And this is a very long time ago. Naja is 16 going on 17, so we're looking at about 17 years ago. And anyway, so another leasing agent from a different property had caught his lungs collapsed, and I hate that, I hate that happened. But when that happened, I was recommended by the leasing agent, who the crazy part about it is I'm still friends with the leasing agent that introduced me to the business. I'm still her friend. In fact, I believe she's actually on my page as well. So, artist Lawrence, if you're watching, you have allowed me to maintain my household for 17 years just by you making one recommendation. So thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you. Um, so so where was I with my story? Um, okay, so Caleb, his lungs collapsed. Wherever you are, Caleb, God bless you. I pray that you're fine. And so artists recommended that I would go ahead and go over there and and see about the position. Of course, she had already told the manager there that, you know, I had good work ethic and I was always on time. And she just I pretty much walked into the position with the job. So I kind of had to decide whether I wanted to leave the medical assistant field, which by that time I had, you know, I had gone to the next level, became a registered medical assistant. And so I made the decision to cut my ties with with that position and then move over into property management. And I've been in property management for that long. I've been for 17 years. I think, of course, you know, life has happened over the years. A couple of years I may have taken off and I stayed home with the kids for a few years. Then I was a stay-at-home mom for a few years. I had the opportunity to do that. But my point is, this industry it's always opportunities there. It has always welcomed me back with open arms, and I absolutely love what I do. And since I've been doing it for so long, I pretty much have all the ins and outs in the bag at this point. So much so that I know that there are other industries that, you know, people can start off in. I think depending on where you are in your life, there's two things that I suggest that people do if they're in transition or they just don't know what to do. I suggest, if you know, that you would be a flight attendant. That was my other favorite career. I didn't have jobs. I had like different careers. I didn't go from job to job to job. I went from career to career. But anyway, so flight attendant is my first recommended. Property management is my second, especially, you know, if you don't have any ties or whatever the case may be, you can get a discount off your rent depending on what management company you work for. Most companies do offer that. And I just think, you know, it's just an awesome opportunity, you know, if you just don't know what to do and you need a place to stay. It's a great way to get started. So anyway, so like I said, I've been doing it for 17 years. I'm at this point now where I feel like I am being led to teach others, to share with others. Of course, you know, there's a market out here for everyone, for anything. And I know that now, after, you know, so long of being in the industry, it's my time now to share. It's my time to teach. It's my time to pour into someone else. And so I'm doing this live in hopes that it's someone watching or someone who may know someone that might want to learn how to be a leasing specialist. Now, there's a difference between a leasing agent, a leasing consultant, and a leasing specialist. I, my friend, am a leasing specialist, not because of all the years I've been doing it, but yeah, it's kind of because of the years I've been doing it. But that's only because I've been doing it for so long that makes it, you know, a specialty. And not everybody is fortunate enough to be doing something that they love. And my best friend, one of my best friends, I have quite a few best friends. I have best friend Stacy from New York. Hey, Stacy. Monica from Jacksonville. I have another best friend. But this particular best friend, I'll tell them all the time how happy I am to be able to be doing something that I absolutely love. Anyhow, so I would like to extend my wisdom and knowledge to people who want to get into property management, who would like to try or get some training to be a leasing specialist. And I can guarantee you, I can teach you anything that you need to know, from entry level all the way to the top. I work around the most amazing property managers. I work for a phenomenal property management company. And like I said, my goal is to now pour into someone else or train other people to become leasing specialists. So like I said, I can teach everything from how curb appeal is important to your property and why you think to yourself, oh, curb appeal is not my job. It's not my job to make sure that the apartment community looks good. Well, it does reflect who you are, and you want to make sure that your customers and your clients that are coming to the property, you represent your property. First of all, you represent you first, and then you represent your property. So that's how that goes, because a person with good character does what is right even when no one is looking. So that's going to be the first thing. The first lesson that I would teach is character, being a person of integrity, and doing what you say, how you say, and when you say it. But at the same time, life happens. I totally get it. I'm going to move away from that. The other thing that I can teach is customer service. Customer service, you think to yourself, oh, yeah, everybody knows customer service. Well, that might be true. And being in good customer service is like a blanket statement. Because, for instance, I had to have a different kind of customer service when I was dealing with an irate passenger as a flight attendant. There was FAA, there were guidelines and things that were in place that worked for that particular scenario in that particular situation. Now, dealing with customers in the public in the property management industry is something different. You want to know why? Because the customer service in most places, when you're at like a window or something like that, and a customer comes up to you, if you're having an issue with that customer, 9 times out of 10, that customer is going to have an issue and they're going to go away. You probably won't ever see them again in your life. The thing about property management is that resident, guess what? You're going to have to see that resident again. You're going to have to see that resident again the next day, probably the next day, probably next month when they come to pay rent, maybe. But guess what? You're with that same customer for the next 12 months minimum. So I'm saying all that to say that customer service is not just customer service when it comes to property management. So that's that. I'll teach you the ins and outs of that. And that's everything. That's why those were the first two. Of course, how to get leases, how to get the sale every time, how to make sure that when they come through the door, they're already sold. Because guess what? I was thinking where I've heard this time and time again. Most of the time, people that are buying something from you, they're buying it from you because they like you. And that community up the street could probably be a better community. It's probably newer. It probably has all the bells and whistles. It's probably a new build. But guess what? They don't have you. That is very, very important. So my goal is to share that part with people and prayerfully give them a foundation to where they can be that person. And so that's it. Like I said, most of it is just that people, when people are buying things, they're buying it from you. They're buying it because they like you. So while my product is beautiful, where I work right now, I know that the biggest asset that you have is you. So that's something that I would like to teach. And then everything else comes, behind that. Telephone techniques, how to make sure your apartments are ready when it's time for them to move in. How to make, put your files together and things of that nature. That's going to vary from management company for sure. Everything is not the same as far as the policies and procedures. I'm going to be able to teach you how to get good reviews. Everybody nowadays are looking for reviews, and they go to the review before they go to the community. They'll go to the reviews before they go to the website. I can't see any chats. Not thinking anybody may be chatting right now, but in the event you are, I can't see anything. Oh, I do have some chats. Oh, my cousin said he's loving this story. Okay, so my concern is on this platform, I can't see your chats in front of me. So I'm going to like it there. Yes. Okay. So stay Steven's watching. Okay. Hey cuz, I love you. Thank you. I was thinking about you when I decided to do this. And so hang in there. Okay, where was I? All right, telephone techniques, the files, reviews, making sure that people are getting reviews from you and looking for you specifically. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on. This is Tenacious Tuesday. I had a very, very, very trying day from beginning to end. Some things I didn't even catch on video that happened from this morning to today. Thank you, Tanya, so much for being ready and willing to do this interview that we had planned tonight. To be honest with you, I had been going back and forth about sharing my desire to share what I do with others and how to grow other leasing agents and consultants into leasing specialists. So this was on the radar. I just didn't do it until today. So Tanya, thank you. I'm very, very, very excited about our interview, which has been postponed to next Tuesday, Tenacious Tuesday. Next week, join me. I am going to have Tanya Green. She is the owner and operator of, oh Lord, Auntie Al's Delish Cuisine. And believe it or not, I know her from property management. Go figure. I mean, about 17 years ago, maybe a little less than that, we met in property management. And lo and behold, now here we are. She has a food truck, and we're going to do her interview next week. We'll be back at 8:30 with Tenacious Tuesday. And thank you so much for allowing me to. I've been wanting to share that. I've been wanting to tell that story for a minute. So thank you all so much for liking my pop-up story about how I got into property management. And I'm just really excited, and I know that God does things on purpose and it wasn't by happenstance that the original interview got postponed. So I'm very, 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 very blessed, and we're definitely gonna have a praise party when I get off this live. But anyway, anybody who's watching, I can see that Steven is watching. Hey Tasha, I can see you on my other screen that you're watching. So hey, is it Tasha? Yeah, it's Tasha. That's right. That's property manager too. I'm property management also. That met a lot of people on my page are property managers or in property management. A lot of them are people that I used to work with, and then some of them are residents. So but anyway, thank you for allowing me to take some time. Hey, Tasha, you have to go back and watch the beginning. I was just sharing how I got into property management, and I was just sharing how many people that I, met, and how long, I've been in the industry. And I was just sharing that I would like to start training other people. And so that's the plan. That's the plan. So today was this step out on faith to kind of put it out there, and that's what I'll be putting together. But anyway, I'm at my almost 30 minutes, and typically my interviews last about 30 minutes. This was kind of off the cuff, but I'm very thankful to God that He allowed me to kind of just go with the flow, and sometimes you have to do that. But Oh yeah, I miss you too, Tasha. I miss you too. God bless you. Well, hey, listen, I have to go ahead and get the girls together for school tomorrow. But God bless you all. Please know that you guys are always in my prayers. In the morning, for a straight hour from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Every morning, I am praying for everyone on my Facebook page. Okay. And while I'm at it, I'm going to plug One Global Voice in Christ Ministry. We are a 24-hour Watchman prayer line. We are available 24 hours, 7 days a week. We are available for you to call in and pray for whatever it is that you're tenacious about. We want to agree with you for that. Okay, the number is 609-663-0865. Yes, 609-663-0865. All right, so with that being said, thank you all. God bless you. I am your leasing specialist trainer. That's right. That's what I do. Y'all have a good night. God bless you. Bye.